Listen, listen, ladies and gentlemen, you will not believe this, but Cade Cunningham, ladies and gentlemen, you got to pay the utmost homage. This man put up 30, in a loss. I mean, the Detroit Pistons rallied. Something is changed out there in the Motor City. We all know what that is. But Cade Cunningham, the Detroit Pistons, they trailed by 19 with 9:26 remaining in the final period. And Cade Cunningham hit a bunch of clutch buckets, and even one, to cut the deficit just to one with 2.5 seconds remaining. I believe homage need to be paid. And here at Flight Sports, we about to pay it. But listen, we about to get all into it. 102 to 103, the Detroit Pistons was right there. We about to get into it. Make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe. It's Flight Sports TV. Listen, I got my man All Access with me. It's opening night decks. There's a lot of things to discuss. Definitely need to get your thoughts. Cade Cunningham is the man. What's the deal?
Yes, sir. Salute to you, Flight, once again. Thank you for inviting me into your space and welcoming and integrating me onto your platform. That was a doozy from Cade Cunningham. Monte Williams has instilled and is instilling in these young men competitive spirit. They went on and took on the representative of the Eastern Conference championship and 50% representation of the NBA Finals, the Miami Heat. They came all the way down from Detroit to South Beach and put on a great display of basketball flight. Cade Cunningham moving and grooving and things of that nature. You can see the maturity of Cade Cunningham game as he was slicing and dicing and end up with the results of 30 big points and almost came out with a win. They lost by the narrowest of margin, one freaking point. They couldn't close the deal, but I'm not the one for moral victory. I'm not the one for conciliatory prizes. I'm not the one for, second place finishes. But listen, what we saw out of Detroit, we know Monte Williams is going to be a force to reckon with as he put into these young competitors the spirit of winning. And Cade Cunningham demonstrated that with that nice 30 piece that he dumped on the Miami Heat down in South Beach. Like,
Yeah, yes, absolutely, Dex. It's definitely a lot of things that we need to discuss out here. South Beach is definitely a tough place to play. That team is definitely was in the NBA Finals. It was epic. Listen, Cade Cunningham is the truth, and they would face off against the Charlotte Hornets. Is going to be an unbelievable matchup. We're going to look ahead to that shortly, but I want to get into obviously Coach Monty Williams. Monty Williams was very high on his performance. He was high on the whole entire team's resiliency after the game. Isaiah Stewart, 14 points, 14 rebounds. Jalen Duran, 17 points, 14 rebounds, 4 blocks. Both tallied double-doubles, ladies and gentlemen. You had Asor Thompson, the Pistons' number 5 overall pick this summer, finished with 4 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 blocks in his debut. I mean, that's crazy. You understand? And Cade Cunningham started hot, but finished even hotter. And when you discussing the playmaking ability, when we think of all these guards, when you think of LaMelo, when you think of obviously some of these other people that's out there, Tyrese, when you think about all these people, Cade Cunningham has some injuries, but he's going to have an opportunity to get in the mix of some of the better young guards in this league. You understand? And we're gonna figure out, is this going to be an Eastern Conference duel? You got Melo, you got Trey, you got Tyrese. Dex, what do you see Cade Cunningham and all of that? And give me your thoughts on the matchup against the Charlotte Hornets.
yes, like you see this? You see me rubbing my hands like Birdman? I see cash money from Cade Cunningham and company, especially when you have a coach of the ilk of Monte Williams. former coach of the year, runner up in the NBA Finals to the Milwaukee Bucks, and he was up 2 games, and all he had to do was win two more. He was 50% at the finish line, but he wasn't able to close the deal. Giannis had a tremendous closeout to that series, but he's bringing all that experience to the Detroit Pistons, and Detroit didn't even hesitate to give him his money with all that he deserved. And with this young crop of of a harvest that Monte Williams will have in his grasp, I think they're going to be something to reckon with. By the way they played this game, and like I said before, I'm not into consolation prizes, but I listen, Flight. I'm impressed, man. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm impressed with what I've seen with the Detroit Pistons and the route that Monte Williams is driving this young core down the NBA road. Like,
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I'm so excited for this NBA season, and if last night was any appetizer of what we will be witnessing, will be definitely crazy. Obviously, the Pistons, they are a tough team. You got Jalen Duren. That's pretty crazy because you got Duren and you got Mark Williams, facing off against each other. We're going to figure out the battle of the bigs. The Pistons definitely are going to have their stake in this claim out in the East, so definitely look out. If you are a fan of the Detroit Pistons, make sure you subscribe to Flight Sports. We're going to be bringing nothing but nonstop news, updates, and more. If you're rocking with the Pistons, this is opening night fallout. My predictions for the game against the Charlotte Hornets will be, I personally feel like it's going to be, a win, for Charlotte. I think that Detroit is tough. Charlotte got to play their A game because you see the resiliency. They played Miami awfully tough, but Charlotte, if they want to be that kind of team, they both teams want to be that team. So I think it's going to be a battle of who want to be that team, and somebody gonna break through, and this is why I tried to warn a lot of people who rocked with some of these teams that all of these young guys are trying to do the same thing. Look at the
yes,
Orlando Magic; they just won. Everybody thinking the same. Go ahead, Dex.
yes. Yes, and also like we're going to see the two prototype bodies of the new age point guard, the tall, slender, slivery, and somewhat spindly point guards match up with Cade Cunningham and LaMelo Ball. I think it's going to be a charming game because Detroit is coming into the Queen City winless, and Charlotte, hey, they started out the season 1-0 thus far. And what a game for Mark Williams, Listen, a lot of people was kind of, not too all in on Mark Williams, but Mark Williams showed that he can be a pivotal player with positive impact and a driven force when need be, especially while LaMelo Ball had a very pedestrian output in the first half, and he came on in the second half, and they closed out their big brothers from the northern portion of the South, the Atlanta Hawks, Trey Young and company. So if Brandon Miller can keep up this spirited basketball, if PJ Washington can continue to rein in those threes, PJ from the runway, and Gordon Hayward can hold up and be that rock of calmness for the Charlotte Hornets, and we already know LaMelo Ball showtime. We already know he is a showstopper, and if they can continue playing basketball this way, Steve Clifford might have action at Coach of the Year flight.
Yeah, yes, and that's very funny, man. We're gonna look into it, and I hope so. It's Flight Sports. Make sure you subscribe for more news, updates, and more. Peace.